anything can happen, of course. V0oid's gotten pretty good at this game quite quickly. He just got back into this game from he got a 129, I think, sometime in the past year or 2 years. It's primarily a DKC2 runner, but he picked the game up again just for this tournament and has gotten all the way down to a 126.35, which is a solid time. Elminster is one of the oldest players still around. Maybe the oldest, actually. I'm pretty sure he started in either 2011 or early 2012. Maybe even earlier than that. Like, he's been around for a long time. He's been into this game for a long time. He speedruns plenty of other games as well. I think his main one is probably Super Metroid and assorted Super Metroid ROM hacks. I think he's also pretty good at Ocarina of Time. Both runners are going to be moving through escape. Don't expect too much variance here. Both getting through that room nicely. We'll be looking to kill this screen guard. Now, ball and chain is definitely the most important room in escape. This guard can do a lot of damage really quickly to you. Any hit is worth 1 heart, sorry. But since you only have 3 hearts, that's a high percentage of your health. Both of them get through without taking any damage though, which is nice. V0oid used a slightly faster strat there, just opting to kill the guard with just 8 slashes, whereas Elm used a pot, which the pot, for whatever reason, damages the guard for 4 slashes worth of damage, so then you only need to hit him 4 more times after throwing the pot. Pots are insanely OP in this game, especially early on, when Link has the initial sword upgrade. So the sewer section has a lot of silly RNG. You saw Elminster had a lot of snakes in his way. It's unfortunate. The best you can do is just to try to not lose too much time in those situations. Coming up will be a room where, called the key rat, where a rat to the left has a small key that they need to proceed. And it can go in a number of directions. Void got a pretty decent one. Elm got a really good one, actually, where it walked more towards him. Oh, Void missed boomeranging the key. That's actually pretty bad. That'll put him just about a room behind Elminster here. Void with a 601. Definitely not what he wants to start out the race. Most good players, certainly most Summon 30 players, look to finish that first segment in under 6 minutes. Unfortunately, Void made a little mistake in the key rat room that ended up costing him a few seconds. Both grabbing the snake cart, it's always a good idea. Certainly in a race environment. It's only 3 seconds out of your way for... Void's going to be entering Eastern at 2.5 hearts. He'll probably want to collect some safety hearts while he's making his way through the dungeon. This dungeon has a mandatory 1.5 damage you must take to do things quickly. I'll talk about that when we get there. We'll probably see Void lift this bottom heart, pot here for that heart. Only a few frames slower than lifting the top pot to get to that switch. Elminster executing that room very well. Void going to execute it very well also. The deal with that room is normally you walk towards the center of the room and activate a trigger that will spawn 4 Stalfos around Link. But by entering that trigger in a certain way, you can manipulate it so only 2 of them spawn. And you can kill them before they even appear, which is exactly what both runners did here. Coming up for both runners will be the big key trick. Normally the game wants you to kill every enemy in the room, so anti-fairies surrounding pot disperse from it, but you can take a damage boost like Elm just did there, and Void is doing now. That will give you iframes so you can lift that pot while the anti-fairies are still circling it. And they both did it very well there. That was the mandatory 1.5 damage I was talking about. You take a half heart from the Popo and then an extra heart from the anti-fairies. Both have got their bow. Very nice rupee drops from Elm there. He is up to 26, which is really solid. I believe he's going to do tree rupees. So that's really solid. I'm 100% sure Void does tree rupees. In which case, he's definitely hoping to get some rupees coming up in one of these rooms. Void having some trouble in Zelda Gamer, as we call it. Oh, Elm really messing up our Armos fight here. Might even allow Void to take the lead. And yeah, it looks like that's exactly what happened. Armos can be a tricky fight if some part of your rhythm gets off. But, yeah. Now they'll be going to talk to Sastrala to get the boots. Which is definitely the best item in the game. For a speedrun, allows us to go fast. Not only does it increase your just Link space movement speed a lot, just using the dash mechanic, with Link dashing at 4 pixels per frame, compared to his walking at 1.5 pixels per frame. But it also allows them to do this neat glitch here, where he's gonna do a spin attack on the stairs, and try to press A on the first frame of the spin attack animation, so that when he touches any sort of manual staircase or ladder, they'll come off with that super speed there. And you'll see him use that a couple times on this overworld, I think, or a couple times on this segment, maybe. There's one they can do going to the library, and one they can do leaving the library, both of which only save half a second. So, we'll see what they do. Looks like Void is going for it. Elm's not going for it. And see, Void had a little bit of a hiccup there getting the super speed off the ladder. That's one of the tricky things about that strategy, is the game's kind of picky with your D-pad inputs when you touch a ladder and come off. Like, so when you're trying to do a quick up-down, like Void was trying to do there, wasn't able to make it work the first time. Now they'll be headed to Desert Palace, which is, I would say, a mostly carefree dungeon. There's a couple of instances where you need to adjust to some RNG factors. And then there's the boss, the notorious boss, Lanmolas. Elm having a little bit of a hiccup there on that kill on the Devilant. See how they opt to do Torch Key. Void got shot. That's the problem with that optimal strategy, is if you're not holding diagonal when the BMOS fires, it will hit you right in the face. Never a good time. They'll be breezing through this Popo's room. This room, the cannonballs can randomly block your dash up. Looks like Elm got through just fine. So did Void. Good RNG for both of them. And if you get good RNG, you know you can just dash down straight away. It's always nice for that to happen. It's the fastest and easiest thing in the room, is when they're just completely out of your way. One thing I've noticed at Elm is that only 22 arrows, which is probably not enough, or not the amount he wants to fight Lemolis. Oh, and he didn't start his dash soon enough on this screen. That allows Void to take the lead. If you don't start your dash quickly enough there, that Devilant will catch you, and it's quicksand. Void showing off the Desert 2 spin speed. This is another room where RNG can play a role. Void having really good RNG, Elminster having not so great RNG. Now, might go for these top arrows, or he might not. Looks like he's gonna go in without them, with just the 22 arrows. So about this boss, the way they spawn in at the beginning is completely set. So they'll have this little setup where they bonk the top wall, but from there the fight's pretty much completely random. And you'll see them shooting their arrows. Oh, nice cycle there from Pool. It's a really tough boss fight to do quickly, consistently. It's very hard. Both going for the Sandman slash there. Interestingly, Elminster is going for the West Side Breeze route to Death Mountain. Void doing the fake flippers route. Void's route is slightly faster, about 6 seconds or so. He's going to jump into the water a pixel from the screen transition, scroll the screen immediately upon hitting the water, and he's going to be able to swim on the next screen because the game doesn't run its check for flippers. So he was able to pick up a little bit of time there, put some distance between himself and Elminster, who just did the normal route. Yeah, there are a lot of instances of smaller RNG. For the most part, I would say speedrunners actually like that. It adds a lot to the run, having to, react to things, dynamic elements that are happening compared to just straight up muscle memory. Some of the larger RNG sections, like cannon warps and blue balls, can be pretty annoying though, that's for sure. Void getting hit out of his spin speed there. Spin speed only works in the Japanese 1.0 version, so Elm is definitely on 1.0. He might just not have gone for fake flippers just because he's not comfortable with it. As well, fake flippers has a bit of a risk to it. If you get hit at all on the screen with the whirlpool, the game will run its check for flippers, and it will try to put you back on land, but you didn't actually jump into the water on that screen, so it has no idea where to put you. And this creates a glitch state where you can't really do anything but save and quit, or infinite scroll. And so that's obviously a very bad thing to happen in a race. Void having a nice Beatles room. Minster getting the big key. He'll be fighting the Beatles soon. This room's pretty tough to do the exact right way. The slash to hit the middle beetle and the switch at the same time is kind of precise, and you see Void missed it, or Elminster missed it there, unfortunately. And we just saw Void executing the bomb jump to the Moon Pearl. We'll be coming up into the bumper skip here. There's a 4-pixel window where you can dash between that pit and the bumper without falling in the pit or getting bounced around by the bumper. Elm doing the bomb jump. Void on Moldorm. Moldorm takes 6 hits to the tail. After the 5th hit, he starts moving considerably faster. Void having a nice fight there. That's pretty solid. Elm's definitely playing the small dorm really safe. And he does get it down. Here on Void's stream, he'll be dashing through this cave. It's really important to not bonk in that cave, because you will land in a pit that will make you spawn all the way back at the beginning of the cave. The cave's about 6 seconds long, so pretty bad to take a fall there. And here we see the rupee route coming into play. Void kind of had trouble bringing down that buzz blob there. It would have been really bad if he'd gotten hit. It is actually faster to dash out of the long diagonal cave. Visually, it might look like it's not, but counting the time where Link is in the doorway. Yeah, what Pinkus is saying, basically. So with this rupee route here, you saw both our runners grab that first tree right outside of that long diagonal cave, and it gave them 4 blue rupees. And then their goal from there is to get through this section, killing at least 4 enemies and taking no damage. And then when they pull this tree that Void is at right now, they'll get 4 reds. And that is the fastest known rupee route for getting the money to pay Kiki to enter the first dungeon of the Dark World. This is the first round of the bracket stage. This is a single elimination bracket featuring 64 players. Fortunately, Void messed up that room a little bit, but he did not get a drop from that card, which is actually kind of important. You really don't want to get a drop in that room. If you dash kill the guards, you manipulate it so they never drop anything. Enemies in this game will never drop an item if you dash through them to kill them. Unfortunately, Elm did get a drop there. That means he has a chance of getting a fairy on the Hammer Bridge in Palace of Darkness, which is where he doesn't really want to get it. It's kind of useless there. Yeah, some players don't really like the, oh no, Void. Okay, it's still managed to work out pretty well. Arrow Strides and Aghanim's Tower are definitely faster. On the Gold Knight's room, they're a couple seconds faster. And the Red Spears, they're a few seconds faster as well. But so, the players have varying degrees of comfort with those strategies. I assume Elm did the double spin on the Gold Knights because he is not comfortable with the arrows strat in the Gold Knights room. Void's going to be coming up on Aghanim. The way this boss works, his first attack will be a guaranteed energy shot. The next 3 in the sequence will be 50-50 between an energy shot and a blue ball. Now, energy shots you can hit back at Aghanim to deal damage to him. You need to hit him with six of them. Blue balls have no function other than to waste your time. The remaining attack in the cycle will be a lightning phase. See the lightning phase out of Void here. Elminster in the cutscene. I think Void might get 0 here. Ah, he got 1. And he got 2. Oh no, this can be bad. He can get 3 here. Oh, he must have gotten 1 in the first round that I didn't see. Looks like Elminster has gotten 3 or 4. Looks like it was 3 for Elm. Void showing off a neat spin speed strategy there on the pyramid. Let's going to be headed off to Palace of Darkness. This is the screen they're going to have to pay Kiki on. Two things to look out for here. They definitely don't want to get hit by anything while carrying Kiki, or Kiki will leave you, and you'll actually have to pay him again. Normally, that's pretty simple to do, but sometimes there's one RNG specifically where it can actually be kind of challenging. Another thing you'll see runners do with Kiki is they'll try to cancel their dash up towards the Palace of Darkness entrance in a specific way to pull Kiki closer to them. This is because, like, during the cutscene where Kiki's actually opening the Palace of Darkness, he moves very slowly compared to how quickly he moves behind Link. Both just moving through, collecting a series of small keys to be able to get the big key. And after they've done that, they will be headed towards the hammer jump. This is a trick found in late 2012 by the Japanese tasker Yuzuhara. It saves somewhere in the range of 30 to 40 seconds in this category. You'll see it coming up on Void's string here. He's going to need to plant the bomb on a specific vertical pixel, and then he's going to need to place Link on another specific vertical pixel. Oh, he accidentally plants the first bomb facing north. That's a pretty big mistake. It's going to lose a bunch of time. He has to reload the room to get the falling bridge back. Just like he has it here. No, he doesn't. He fails it again. He's gonna have to reload again. He looked pretty confident there in his placements. Maybe his cue is off. Like I said, this is pixel perfect along the Y position. He does get it there, but that has allowed Elminster to come storming back. If Elminster can get this first try, he will have made up quite a bit of time on Void. Elm needs to move down some, Elm having some trouble here. Looks like he might have it there. Yeah, he does. Unfortunately, Void's not going to be able to get his hearts to full here, which is also a big problem. Beams significantly speed up the latter sections of this dungeon. Very nice mimics, however. He's going to have to arrow that switch, which is a little unfortunate. I didn't see what happened to Elminster here. Maybe he got blocked by the beetle or hit off or something. Wasn't able to see, but I could tell that what happened wasn't really supposed to happen. This is the main room. Void's going to lose a little bit of time in, and he'll have to menu to the boomerang to hit that switch. Ideally, you can just sword beam that switch, and we'll probably see that out of Elminster here. That saves a menu being able to do that. Got Void fighting Helmosaur. Needs to be careful in this last phase. Looks like he's got it here. Yeah, he's got it. There are route variations, but the optimal route is known, and the optimal route is used by pretty much everyone in the top 20 or 25. Even players below that, a lot of them use the optimal route. The main routing difference you'll see is players sacrificing a second to get Ice Rod and Ether at a different point in time compared to the optimal route. And you'll see more route variations out of players in the 130, mid-130s, such as Powder and stuff, give them some added safety. And yeah, Fake Flippers is another one. The vast majority of runners do use Fake Flippers. For whatever reason, Elm does not like it though. Elm is on 1.0. I've seen him do a couple spin speeds, so he's definitely on 1.0. I can only assume that he's just uncomfortable with Fake Flippers or hasn't practiced it enough. It's definitely not the kind of trick you want to be doing. Just wing it and run without having given it any thought or any time put into it. Because it is risky. Like, if you get hit, you're toast, you know? So... Void's gonna be getting a shovel here, going right into digging up the flute. This is a nice spin speed strategy from Void here. It's going to allow him to zip all the way through this screen. One of the really nice things about that strategy is it avoids having to deal with that red guard on that screen, who we call Usain Bolt because of his prodigious running abilities. Elm unlocking his duck. Void's going to be using this warp to get to the Dark World. You'll notice he moves around to the left side of that warp, which might seem odd. But that's actually to get what we call a quick warp, which is for every warp between the light and dark worlds, you can stand on certain horizontal coordinates and get faster warp animation by about 34 frames. And for that warp tile, it just so happens the quick warp is on the left side of the tile, so it's still faster to go around and hit the tile from the left, compared to just going straight down into it from the top right. And you'll see Elminster trying to do the same thing. And he also got it as well. Void moving through the first part of the East Town nicely, is taking no damage, that's good. Unfortunately, he's going to be coming up on some pretty rough rooms. Let's see what strategy does in this room. The bottom route is pretty safe. A little slow, but pretty safe. Then he's going to be trying to get through this hellway. He's got kind of bad RNG here. Able to squeeze through, though, and get into the next room. That's not too bad, all things considered. The hellway can be really trolly and just awful. So, really good to get through. Ideally, you dash to the middle of the room and cancel in the exact middle of the conveyor, or what we call the God Pixel, and you're able to just dash up all the way through if you get good RNG. We'll see if Elm gets it here. He has got it, but he didn't have RNG. That's the thing. None of those enemies can block you. If you want to get through just in one dash. Elminster blowing up the floor. Void's going to be rescuing the fake maiden. Choosing to walk up through the gel cells. That loses about a third of a second compared to dashing up. But dashing up is pretty dang hard. You need really precise canceling against the key locks. Void has his Titan's Mitt. It's going to be headed towards the blind fight. Minster going towards the fake maiden. So this blind fight is probably going to be pretty reliable for both of these runners. It's pretty rare, certainly at Void's level. It's really rare for anything to go catastrophically wrong at blind. He did have kind of a hiccup there in that second phase. Shouldn't be too bad, though. Looks like Elminster's also got the blind fight set up well. Has a flawless first and second phase. Really nice fight out of Elm. Void collecting his first 300 rupee chest. 600 rupees will be collected on this overworld to be able to afford the flippers later. We'll also be rescuing the dwarf here to temper our sword. This tempered sequence isn't too exciting. It's probably one of my least favorite portions of the Dark World. Just kind of running back and forth and having to talk to them. You can lose quite a bit of time if some of your dashes are mistimed or your warps are misplaced. Your text matching isn't good. Misplacing the warps can be particularly costly. On a couple of the warps, you can definitely get what's called a mirror bonk, where you sort of mirror inside some of the light world geometry, and the game doesn't always like it when this happens, and it can send you straight back to the dark world and just kind of reject your warp. At least it's like 8 or 9 seconds when that happens, so pretty hefty time loss. Void, I believe, unfortunately missed the fence dash. Void might have a visual cue to be able to tell when he has it or not, and he can just bail out of it when he doesn't. That's quite a bit better than bonking, of course. Looks like Elm doesn't even go for it. So we're 0 for 2 on fence dash. Void having a rough mummy statue room so far. It's going to continue to be rough. Void's down to 5 hearts now, and he's actually going to have to take a heart of damage in this room to be able to bomb jump across the fire rod. This fire rod's functionally the exact same as the Tower of Pharaoh one. We see Void using the newer spin setup to get right on the edge of the pit and have the bomb boost him over. Looks like Elminster did have a much nicer mummy statue room. Void is down to 4 hearts. That's actually a pretty precarious position to be in Skull Woods. The mummies all do 2 hearts of damage, so he can only survive 1 hit to them. A second hit will be killing him. As well, Mothula, at the end of the dungeon, will do 2 hearts of damage as well. Looks like Elm had a little hiccup at the fire bomb jump, missed it the first try, but gets it the second try. Not what he wanted to have happen. Ideally, he would have, you know, this has been a sloppy dungeon out of Void, so Elm definitely had the potential here to catch up some time. I don't know if he's going to be able to catch up a whole lot with that fire rod mishap. Void down to 3 hearts. 2 hearts entering Moth. He cannot survive a hit from Moth or Moth's beams. He can survive 1 hit from the spikes. This is scary. Okay, he does get Moth down. Oh, Elminster having a lot of trouble in this room. I don't know what his approach exactly was there. But he does get the fairy. It's actually not too bad of a place to get it. Ideally, runners look for it in Turtle Rock, but given his health situation there, I'm sure he'll gladly take it. Unfortunately, having a Moth here who hangs out close to the top wall can be really tough to deal with. But he does get it done. Scrivo admitting he forgot the big key in Mire. That's always nice. The tape has unfortunately been lost forever. but it's good that we have Scrivo's admission on record. Oh, dang. Both of our players going to be picking up the Quake medallion here, which we need to access Turtle Rock. Then they'll be mirroring going into to get the flippers, which are in the same general area of the overworld. Void proceeding through that screen pretty nicely. The screen's actually pretty tough to do well. You want to minimize your diagonal movement, really cut your dashes as close to the deep blue water as you can in a lot of instances, and it's pretty punishing to mess up something. Falling into the deep blue water wastes a little over a second every time you do it. And it's actually really easy to get caught in a loop of just jumping back in repeatedly. You see Elm accidentally takes a dive there. The Void made me pretty nervous there. I thought that crab was going to come at him from behind. Still, taking that half heart of damage means he will not be able to use beams in the second room, which is actually pretty problematic sometimes. If this jelly sparks Surly, we'll have no quick way to kill him. But he gets to him before he starts sparking. That was nice. If the jelly starts sparking and you don't have beams, your only course of action is to either wait for it to stop sparking, which usually takes a few seconds, or to fire at it, in which case you have to wait for the burn animation, which also takes a few seconds. So either way, you're doing something pretty slow. Void taking another hit there. That also means he won't be able to have beams for the conveyor room, which is also really frustrating quite often, especially if he has a right-moving conveyor. If he has a right-moving conveyor, the room's probably going to go really poorly, and he does have a right-moving conveyor. That wasn't too bad, though. He did take that hit from the enemy coming from the wall, whose name I absolutely do not know. I was doing IPBJ, or Ice Palace Bomb Jump. That is a trick to get through this room with those pegs up, which makes the back half of this dungeon go way more quickly and smoothly. It's the single biggest time-saving trick we use in an NMG run. Saves a few minutes. So, yeah. The Shadow Cricket. Elma, meanwhile, will have beams, so you'll see he'll be able to kill these two jellies pretty easily with those sword beams. Yeah, just like that. Unfortunately, gets sparked by that one. That was really bad luck. No, he'll be coming in Ice Palace Bomb Jump. Meanwhile, Void's going to be coming up to the Cold Stare fight. This is a pretty tough fight. I know I certainly breathe a sigh of relief every time I get through it. I'm sure most other players do as well. It's just really the deadliest boss. Hopefully it goes well for him. Needs all 8 of his fire rod shots to melt that ice casing around the puffs. Oh! Oh! Ho ho! A half heart! Shoutouts to the Sanctuary heart. Saving Void's life there. And you saw just how quickly your health can get knocked down by that boss. The puffs do 4 hearts of damage to Link when he has the green mail on. And the ice crystals do 2 hearts of damage, so... Whew. We'll see how it goes for Elminster. Gets the initial spin. Unfortunately, one of them escapes him in the corner. Looks like he will be able to clean it up, though, yeah. So, I know this crystal cutscene from the time you catch the crystal to the time you sword up is about 50 seconds, so, that's about how far behind Elminster is right now. Which really isn't too far behind. You know, of course, Void definitely has an advantage, but a lot can still go horribly wrong. Certainly in Misery Mire, and Turtle Rock, and in Gen's Tower, there's a lot of time to be gained and a lot of time to be lost. So, we'll see how it plays out. But for now, the runners will be headed to Swamp Palace, which is not a dungeon where you're going to see a lead change, probably. It's pretty simple stuff. Void entering Swamp, and like I said, this is actually the second crystal the game intends you to collect, but we're doing it pretty late here. We have a lot of hearts, an overpowering sword, so really not too much that can go seriously wrong in Swamp, but you can still have I guess a bad segment if you just get nickel and dimed in a lot of these rooms. A lot of these rooms have some enemy RNG you have to react to. So definitely some time to be lost from reacting to things poorly or not recognizing patterns as well as you can. And we saw it from Void there, taking that hit there. Definitely a hit you don't have to take. And there with Elminster. Sometimes that water Tektite comes right in your face. Void's gonna be headed towards the big key. And yeah, a lot of people refer to this as Escape Eastern 2.0, just because it's so focused on little movement things and reacting to enemies properly, and not so much on like any big tricks or strategies. Outside of the boss, which I'll talk about when we get there, the boss, Argus, is pretty interesting. Has a pretty neat quick kill that I think we'll see Void attempt. I don't know that Elminster will do it, but I'm pretty sure Void does it at least. Swamp does have one of the cooler items in the game, the hookshot. Hookshot has a lot of neat tech to it. Including that little section there after the chest. He actually did a specific setup for his movement to ensure that he'd be able to hookshot to that key pot. You wouldn't think so watching it, but that hookshot to the key pot is actually very precise. It's easy to have the hookshot accidentally hit the railings surrounding it, rather than pulling you towards the pot like you'd think it should. Avoid getting through the waterfall room. That's a really annoying room. Sometimes the water tektites can get into really silly positions and hit you out of your dash. Elminster collecting that small key. Void's coming up on Argus, and I believe what he's going to do, he's going to hold his sword coming into the fight and do a hookshot dash while holding his sword out. Yeah. And that allows him to get in this loop of instantly killing the puffs. Unfortunately, he messed it up after just a few kills there. If you can hookshot all the puffs that way, though, you get what we call a zero cycle, where you can skip that phase where Argus is doing that like hurricane attack with the puffs, where they're sort of expanding around him in a circular motion. Unfortunately, Void didn't get the zero cycle, and he also messed up the fire rod kill. The fire rod kill there only saves a second over just doing 2 spins, but Void lost some time there since he messed it up, and I had to do 2 cycles anyway in the last phase. We'll see what kind of fight Elminster has. Yeah, Elminster is just going for the slashes right away, just accepting the 1 cycle fight. Has a nice fight. Looks like he'll just be doing 2 spins, and yeah, this is the safe way. Only a second slower than using the fire rod, but I managed to make up some time there since Elm messed it up. Both runners are going to be collecting the Ether and Ice Rod now in this segment. You saw Void doing a sword climb there. That's a neat trick you can do with hookshot to climb ladders really quickly. You just hold your sword out and do a hookshot dash. Void has got his Ether Medallion, and he's floating at 8 to go get Ice Rod. This overworld screen, to blow up the Ice Rod bomb wall can be pretty scary. You got a lot of crabs wandering around. Those crabs do 2 hearts of damage to you. Looks like Elm had a little trouble getting the hook dash there. Eventually gets it, though. Does get the sword climb as well, that's nice. Now Void's gonna be fluting to Misery Mire. Fortunately, he's entering with full health. It's always a good, nice position to be in. You can do Mire 2 the fast way if he wants to, and he's also able to sustain more damage in the dungeon. Mire is a dungeon that has a really tight health route because you need to take damage to get one of the small keys, and you also need to take damage to fight the boss optimally. Fortunately, Void misses the fast Mire too, but he still manages to kill all the Wizrobes in one cycle, which is your main objective in that room. He does take a heart of damage, which isn't a huge deal. He'll be coming up here to get this small key. Looks like Elm also did that in one cycle. Void with a 107, 22, or 23 torches. That means he should be on 127 pace with a nice endgame. That's a pretty solid run from him. It's probably only plus 1 minute, 1 minute and a half or so on his personal best. Void has a 126.35, and Elminster has a 130.12. Yeah, 130.12 for Elminster. So those are their PBs. Of note, Elminster could probably PB in this run. Like, he's going to get a 108, 20-something torches. He's only a minute behind Void. So, if Elminster can put together a pretty good late game here, he could definitely be on PB pace. That'd be pretty sick to have a PB in the bracket stage of the tournament. I don't imagine we'll be seeing too many of those. So Void has gotten the Cane of Samaria, which is another really cool item. It has a lot of interesting uses. They're using it to weigh down a pressure plate switch. And Hero will be using its beam effect to hit a switch. Ooh, Void taking some weird damage there that you don't see too often. A little bit of a mental mistake. Should still be in decent shape for Vidi though. If he can execute the strat properly, he should only take 4 hearts of damage. And looks like that's exactly what's going to happen. Shoots that first arrow a bit early, unfortunately. I'll lose him a bit of time, but still pretty solid. We will see if Elminster has a good Vidi fight. It's like he is gonna have a lightning phase. Ooh. He did have 2 lightning phases, but he's gonna be able to take Vidi down here. Void is moving on to Turtle Rock. Opening the dungeon with his Quake Medallion. Be headed inside. Turtle Rock's a pretty punishing dungeon. I would say it's the most punishing, actually. Ganon's Tower's probably got the hardest movement and strategies. But Turtle Rock is definitely the most punishing. The rollers do 3 hearts of damage. The pokies and lasers do 4 hearts of damage. So, you gotta deal with a lot of those things throughout the course of the dungeon, so... pretty tough. And to top it off, this room Void is going into now, and the optimal strat intentionally takes damage from a roller. You might see Void do it here. Yeah, looks like he's going for it. Yeah, he intentionally takes damage from that top roller, so he can dash through the second one with iframes. That's the fastest way to do that room. Doesn't leave you with too much health, though, although, he should still have his fairy coming to him. Yes, there is a reason Hookshot left. I'll explain it when Elminster gets there. Maybe it'll be easier to visualize. But the gist of it is, yeah, left is closer to the door. And the game needs to put you back at the door, and it does that more quickly if you've hookshotted the left torch versus the right one. Void coming up on a pretty tough room here. Gets a nice RNG though. It's the second fastest one. And yeah, you'll see on Elm's screen here when he hookshots the left torch, if that's the one he does indeed go with. Yeah, you'll see the camera has to scroll from Link's position back to the door before you'll respawn. And it just does that quicker from the left torch. Void coming up on another tough room here, double pokies. Has to kill both of these pokies to proceed. It's a pretty rough RNG. Almost got the double spin. Oh, he's gotten hit twice. He's gotten hit 3 times. Yeesh. Grabs an extra heart there. He's definitely not far enough ahead of Elminster to be able to afford to take a death. Elminster, though, getting hit in the chomps. Oh man, he almost got hit again. If he'd gotten hit again, he would have died. The chomps do 4 hearts of damage. Both of our runners giving us a bit of clinch here. Void's gonna have to take, unless he does something slower and safer, he's gonna have to take a heart of damage right here from this fire bar. That leaves him only 4 hearts. That's enough to kill him at laser skip. If he takes a single hit from the laser, he's dead. If Elm messes up this room, he's also dead. Almost got hit by that flying pokey segment. Void, no fear going for that laser skip. Full confidence in his abilities there. Unfortunately, having his Cane Blast blocked by the Helmethor. He'll be moving on to fight Trinex. Might opt to grab this heart. Yeah, not a bad idea. That means he can survive a hit from the middle portion of Trinex. Elminster unfortunately getting the worst Poke 2 RNG. Handled it pretty well though. That was the optimal way to handle it by any means, but he took it safe and didn't take any damage. Looks like Void has gotten Trinex down to this last phase. Just needs to release this double spin and then slash him a single time. And he's got it. Catching the... Yeah, down left is the worst RNG by far. It's not only the slowest, it's also, like, really difficult to execute it quickly. Elm having a nice laser skip with 3 hearts. He'll be doing the safer strat that collects the bomb in that room. Also grabbing the heart and the magic there. He'll be headed up to Trinex. Void's headed to Ganon's tower. Let's see if he gets the good cutscene here, where you want to be at least 1 pixel below the tower, and it looks like he did. Just that. Interesting strategy from Elminster here. Kind of doing a backdoor, but waiting to stun the head. But yeah, that strategy Void did to activate the cutscene for Ganon's tower does save about 1/3 of a second. You can kill the Lynels, yes, it just wastes time to do so. But being 1 pixel away from the tower saves 20 frames of lag in that cutscene, so that's all it does. Oh, Void getting caught on the other side of the pegs there. These strats are so fun to watch in Ganon's tower. Really fun to execute as well. Elminster's going to be headed towards Ganon's tower. Void using one of his bombs there. That just makes the menu a little bit better. Here he's going to have to menu... Ooh, he accidentally got hit by that anti-fairy and had all his magic sucked up. But here he's going to be able to just do 1 move in the menu to get to arrows, as opposed to if he still had bombs there, he would have needed to do 2. Also messing up Ice Armos, oh no. That's a pretty hefty time loss. RTA means real-time attack. He's out of arrows, but fortunately there's that chest after Big Key that allows you to collect 10 more right away. Which is good for fighting the mimics here. These rooms are pretty tough to do well. Void, grabbing some extra arrows. At least one arrow is really good to have going into the gauntlet. Ideally, personally, I like to have at least 2. That just allows you to cover the most RNGs in this first room. And you'll see with arrows, Void's able to kill this left skeleton right away. With an arrow every time. Elminster going into the Ice Armos fight. Hopefully he has a good one. Nice fire rod kill from Void there from across the room. That's definitely a second or so better than going up and chasing that blue horse head. Nice kills on the Lambolas. Unfortunately, Void ran out of magic here and is going to have to grab that back up. I think that's all because of him getting his magic drained some from the anti-fairy right before Ice Armos. Unfortunately, that means he will have to do a pretty slow Torches strat because he'll run out of magic again right here. So yeah, this room you'll have to do a bit of a slow strat. Very nice execution in those rooms out of Void. We'll be looking to do a single slash and a spin attack on the Worm. It takes him down. Elminster's going to be entering the Lambolas refight. And then he'll be entering the Aghanim refight. This fight is very different from the first one because he spawns these 2 clones with him. The clones can actually never give you blue balls. They always shoot energy balls. So that makes them pretty nice to have. Unfortunately, Void's having really bad luck here, where the first one is attacking so much sooner than the clones are, and so by the time the clones fire, the first one is, you know, moved on and warping. That was really unfortunate. That fight can throw you some really crap RNGs sometimes. There was not a whole lot Void could do there, like. That's just really frustrating. We'll be falling into the Ganon fight here. How Ganon works, these first 2 phases are each advanced by getting 12 hits with the Tempered Sword, with a spin counting as 2 hits and a double spin counting as 4 hits. So, you saw him get a double spin off the Trident there. Yeah, he's already one-cycled the first phase, where Ganon just throws the Trident. Now he's trying to one-cycle this phase, where Ganon summons this Fire Bat Ring. And he looks to have done so successfully yet. Moved on to the 3rd phase, where Ganon warps around and stomps the ground. Unfortunately, in this section, there's a little bit of RNG, where Ganon has a 50% chance to do extra warps. And those are really annoying. They waste about 2 seconds every time they happen. But it looks like Void only got 1 warp, which is pretty good. Gets Blue Ganon there. It's set up on a good cycle here, though. Yeah. This is going to be a pretty solid fight for him, or should be. Meanwhile, we have Elminster fighting Aghanim 2. Unfortunately, getting a blue ball there. Blue balls could be really annoying on Aghanim 2. He has a 50% chance to give them on certain cycles. And they could really interfere with your setup and timing. And yeah, it's given Elminster a lot of trouble here. And it looks like Void will be finishing up with a 1:28:09-ish. Let me check what the actual official speedracing.tv time is. Looks like his official time is a 1:28:15. Now we have Elminster entering the Ganon fight. Wow, Elminster's audio is really bassy. Holy heck. I wonder if that's some VC stuff happening. Really needs to avoid these bats here. Okay, good. If any of those bats had touched him, he would have died. They do 4 hearts of damage. Elminster probably should get within 1 minute of his PB here, which is a solid run. It's unfortunate he was up against such a good opponent in Void. Elminster does kill Ganon. And he'll be finishing up only about 20 seconds off of his PB. A little over 20 seconds off. Elminster finishes with an official time of 1:30:36. Really solid time out of him. Only a little over plus 20 seconds on his personal best. I'll try to get the racers in here. Oh, I do have Void in here. I just noticed. I don't know if he's been sitting here waiting or what. Void is figuring out his mic issues. But I'm also joined in this channel by Elminster, my RTA brother. Hello.
Hey, what's up? Sorry, my mic's really bad right now.
It's perfectly fine. How'd you feel about the run?
Beginning sucked. Middle was actually pretty good, and then the ending sucked.
Yeah.
But I didn't die for the first time in this tournament, so I'm glad I at least like pulled through there.
Yeah, and so your PB is a 1:30:12, right? So if your time on speedrunner.com is up to date at least.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. It's hard to know these days because the game is so active that the queue for verifying runs is like constantly a bunch of people waiting to be verified. But yeah, that's a nice run then for you if you're only 25 seconds off your personal best there.
Yeah, I'm kind of due for one, but I haven't really been playing much, and that kind of shows with like the beginning how badly I messed up Armos, is because I haven't done this category for a while. Mostly been doing randomizer.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think you can definitely get the 129 if you play NMG more. We're also joined by Void, the winner of the race. Hey.
All right, I guess it works now.
Yeah. How'd you feel about your run?
Yeah. I don't know. I like it started fine, I think, for like a race. But then I kind of had some issues with Hammer Jump, and rest of Dark World unfortunately didn't improve. Thought I could like maybe salvage a gold in the late game, but like there was always something that went horribly wrong in any given dungeon, so didn't work out unfortunately.
Yeah, noticed you had a bit of an Icelandmost party.
Yeah, that was something. I'm gonna have to rewatch and see like how it happened.
Yeah, yeah, that was something else. So you will be moving on to face Louis in round 2 of the brackets.
Yo, my boy Louis. That should be a good race.
Yeah, I think it'll be a really good one. 2 runners known primarily for other Super Nintendo games. You with DKC2 and him with SMW. But you've both gotten really good at this game.
Yeah, our PBs are pretty close to each other as well.
Yeah, you've gotten a 126. Louis I think he still has a low 127. He's definitely capable of a 126.
Yeah, some of best is almost as good as mine.
Yeah, so I think that'll be a really fun race to watch. Unfortunately, Elm will be eliminated since we're running a single elimination bracket. But hopefully you stick around and get that sub 90. It'll be fun. How long have when did you start playing A Link to the Past? I was actually wondering that during this during the commentary.
I started in 2011, and
oh dang.
And then I quit in like 2013 because I was getting burnt out. I couldn't get lower than 134. Like I hit a wall.
Yeah.
And then like randomizer getting popular in like 2017 is what got me back into it.
Yeah, with a 2011 start time, you're basically the oldest active player. I know Crystal and Jaden started in 2010, but neither of them are really around much anymore. I don't think anyone from 2011 is around. Maybe Chris started in 2011.
I think he did, yeah. Not sure.
Yeah. So, Yeah, you go way back to the old days of the game, when sub 130 was like top 5 and stuff. I'm sure.
Yeah, like my 135 I think was top 15 back then.
Oh wow!
Damn.
Yeah, that was a different time for sure. When SRL was new and speedrunning was still kind of in its early days on Twitch. But yeah, that was a fun race. Thank you guys for racing. I'll look at what's coming up on the schedule for the Speed Gaming Network real quick. Really want to thank our restreamers and Speed Gaming for helping broadcast this tournament to a sizable audience. It's been really fun. Looks like at the top of the hour we have Super Mario Odyssey over on Speed Gaming 3. Actually, that started 30 minutes ago. But we do have an ALTTP randomizer interactive race over on Speed Gaming 1. On this channel, Speed Gaming 2, looks like we'll have some Diddy Kong racing action. And then over on Speed Gaming 4 at the top of the hour, we have a Hat in Time. So stay tuned for whatever fits your needs on this network. I am Josh RTA. Thanks for watching. Thanks both of you guys for racing. It was really fun.
Yeah, thanks for stepping up for a late minute commentary. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely didn't want to leave this one without commentary. I thought it'd be a fun race. So, and it was a fun watch. So yeah.
Nice.
Later, everyone.
Rolling out.